Hey guys, welcome back to the Pulling Curls podcast. Today on episode 211, we are starting Mindset Month around pulling curls. We're talking about pregnancy mindset, so let's untangle it. Hi, I'm Hillary, a serial overcomplicator. I'm also a nurse, mom to three, and the curly head behind Pulling Curls and the Pregnancy Nurse. This podcast aims to help us stop overcomplicating things and remember how much easier it is to keep things simple. Let's smooth out those snarls with Pregnancy and Parenting Untangled, the Pulling Curls podcast. This episode of the Pulling Curls podcast is sponsored by my pregnancy newsletter. Did you know that I can email you every week, even 2 weeks if you're close to your due date, about everything pregnancy, all the things you need to know, just like a buddy in your inbox? You can find it on most posts at Pulling Curls or look in the show notes and I'll have a link for it there. Okay, so the pregnancy mindset is super complicated. Am I right? You are growing a human in your body. For a lot of you, you've never done it before. And even if you have done it before, you're older, this baby's different, your body's different. And so you're just like dealing with all of those different things. So today I wanted to give you 3 tips for your pregnancy mindset that I think are really going to help you out. Okay, tip number 1 is that you should expect pregnancy to be hard. And I mean, on social media, I see some people like maybe taking it to an extreme, but I know for a long time people were just like, pregnancy's amazing. I feel such a special glow, or I feel great. And that is true. I felt amazing on my first pregnancy. I felt pretty much completely fine. I mean, I had aches and pains, but I was like, I'm going to surrogate. This thing is easy. And I got pregnant 4 years later, and then I got pregnant 5 years later, and like my body was just tired. And so I want to tell you that you need to expect it to be hard, like pioneer hard. Like, this is not going to be fun. I'm going to struggle. These are things you should talk with your partner that you're just expecting it to be hard. Now, of course, this is hard because I also want you to feel like you have this mindset that pregnancy is going to be super easy. But also you should expect it to be hard, because I think if you're looking for how hard it's going to be, then it's going to make it even harder. But if you're also expecting it to just be unicorns and rainbows, then that isn't going to do you any favors either. So pregnancy is going to be hard. Just expect it and have the mindset for it. Okay, tip number 2 is that pregnancy is going to be long. I see so many people looking at the due date. Like, that is the turn-in date. That's the end of finals. Pregnancy is done on my due date. So many people go over. And then also, as you get towards the end of the pregnancy, you in your mind, I see all these people that are like, oh, I'm almost done. I'm 36 weeks. And I'm like, that is a whole month left of being a pioneer, like we talked about in the first mindset. You still got quite a lot of time, plus or minus 2 weeks. So you could go over your due date. I went over my due date every single time. I really had tried to have the mindset that I was going to be due. I would have the baby by 2 weeks after my due date. And I think if you go in, you might just be pleasantly surprised when you go into labor close to your due date. You'll be like, oh, I'm so glad I went in early versus 2 weeks after my due date. Now, hardly anybody makes it to 2 weeks past their due date. But if you just have the mindset, I think when they tell people who are running to think they're running past whatever the finish line is, you want to think that too. You're going to make it way past the due date of the finish line of your due date. So just plan on it being long and then just be pleasantly surprised when it's not. And number 3, and you're going to find this throughout the mindset month, is to have your expectations low. Have your expectations low of yourself and what you're going to be able to accomplish with your body. A lot of people think, oh, I'm going to get all this stuff done. And then they get 30 minutes into a project and they're just like, I am dead. I can't move. I'm done. And so I would encourage you to keep expectations low of yourself, keep expectations low of your partner, so that if they rise to the occasion, it's just a pleasant surprise. Keep expectations of the people around you, your boss, keep all of that expectations low. Because I think a lot of people maybe suffered for infertility and they have kind of all these high expectations about how magical pregnancy is going to be for them and their body, and how everyone's just going to appreciate them and all the work that they're doing for their pregnancy. And that may not be the case. So that is my 3rd tip, is to keep expectations low for yourself, for others, your body, life. So those are my 3 pregnancy mindset tips. I think it's real easy to get caught up in the movie picture of pregnancy and what it's going to be like and how much your partner loves you and how great you're going to feel when that baby moves. And there are going to be moments of that. And I would 100% tell you to savor the moments where you're like, oh my gosh, the baby's moving, and your partner feels the baby move or your kids feel the baby move. Remember those moments, because there's going to be other moments that you'll not want to remember. So those are my pregnancy mindset tips. Stay tuned, because next week we are talking about the parenting mindset. And then the week after that, I have my friend Tina coming on, and we're going to talk about labor mindset. So stay tuned. There's going to be lots of great tips. Great tips if you're pregnant. Great tips. Honestly, these tips are great for anybody. I think trying to get my mind in the right place always serves me well. So stay tuned. Thanks for joining us on the Pulling Curls podcast today. If you liked today's episode, please consider reviewing, sharing, subscribing. It really helps our podcast grow. Thank you.